Got my blankie.
He's ready to rock now.
Okay.
Well, of course, we're talking ACLs. Dave Fleischman, Tom Leyden, big names suffering ACL injuries.
Big ones.
In Week 15, including Patrick Mahomes, whose season is over, along with the Chiefs being eliminated. And also, probably more influential or important when you talk about the future of the playoffs, is Micah Parsons up in Green Bay. So your first reaction to both of those happening, because both of them were non-contact.
It's crazy. Two huge losses for two great franchises, both non-contact. You could actually see the Mahomes injury when you could see it happening live. It was actually, from a sports medicine, it was pretty incredible to watch because you could see the ACL tearing live. Tough. But, it's funny. I took a call. My brother called me right away. Mm-hmm. And the first thing he says, how long?
Well, that's what everyone thinks.
So, good news is the earliest that these guys can come back is 9 months. So if you fast forward, let's say they get the surgery today, they're ready September.
Yeah.
So, hey, they're ready next season.
And we have seen that in most cases in 2025, you're coming back pretty close to 100%. However, one thing we talked about before we started recording this was the Tyreek Hill injury, which was just so gruesome earlier in the season, and how that can have a devastating impact on that specific player's return because of what he's known for.
Yes. Well, so yes, Tyreek Hill is a speedy, shifty, wide receiver. The problem with Tyreek, so what we know about Tyreek Hill, which we don't know about the other two yet, is he had substantial damage outside of the ACL. So he mostly had a tibial plateau fracture, so he's got some hardware in there. The other guys, we just think it's a pure ACL. He might have some meniscus damage. Big picture, today, we can get guys back in 9 months. Now, I'll tell you right now, I don't like any of my athletes coming back at 9 months because none of my athletes, well, I shouldn't say none of them, but majority of them are not professional athletes. They're not being paid to play. I like a 12-month rehab, personally. The problem with the ACL is there's a 30% re-injury rate. That's high.
That is high.
So, you got to weigh all that in. Patrick Mahomes, Micah Parsons, they're in the prime or on the other side of the prime of their career. Are they going to try to come back at 9 months? I would bet they do.
Yeah, because they're animals. They're beasts, and they just want to get back on the field as quickly as possible. It reminds me, and you're going to remember this, the first really high-profile guy who said, get me back on, Jerry Rice. Because Jerry Rice tore his ACL week 1 of the NFL season. But to your point, and I remember when he came back, which was that season, which was, 4 months, which was probably not very well advised.
Yeah.
I remember he hurt his kneecap. How does that work where you could hurt something else?
So who was who had the Achilles tear recently? Daniel Jones.
Yes.
He was suffering a fibula injury, right?
Yes.
So because he had a fibula injury that he's managing, most likely that set him up for that Achilles rupture. So yes, it's not uncommon this happens all the time, unfortunately. Yeah, you get someone who left ACL tear, you rehab them, they get back, next you know they blow their right one out. It happens. I mean, I've had it happen on adolescent kids, I've had it happen on athletes. It's just unfortunate. Is there any science behind it? I think there's a little bit, but actually, one of the things that I was thinking about on my way in here is, what's the common factor of what's happening? It's the field, the surface, right? Everybody's on turf. Now look, we're standing on turf because turf is a very consistent surface. You get consistent play, it drains well, but it's less forgiving.
Well, hold on.
Yeah.
Mahomes was on grass.
Was he on grass?
And so was Parsons because he was playing in Denver.
Okay.
But
so
to
my
your
theory
point,
goes out.
Well, not necessarily, because I think we have seen more injuries on the turf. Most notably, there are some that have a bad reputation.
Well, think about it. Why does in Premier League in soccer they never play on turf?
Makes sense. That's probably why.
Now, I think if you asked the player, what would they rather play on? I would think 9 out of 10 want to play on grass.
The only people I've heard say that they want to play on the turf because it's a more controlled environment and they're not slipping is the wide receivers and the cornerbacks.
And the kicker,
right?
And
the kicker, right? The kickers. So
Yeah.
Listen, like most of you, we immediately think as soon as we see an injury like that, we're like, oh, the amount of time and energy and effort it's going to take for that person to come back. But that's what you're here for.
Yeah, and I love that. I love the journey of that. And, both of those gentlemen are going to have a long journey back.
Who's calling? Anybody good?
Nobody good. Okay. But they'll have a long journey back. big picture though, if you're following the game, if you're a Mahomes fan, you're a Parsons fan, they will be back. They will be playing next season. At the earliest, they'll be ready for week 1. At the latest, you're talking week 4 to 5.
Fascinating. That is Dave Fleischman, APR Physical Therapy, 2 locations, Foxborough and Westwood. Find out more information by going to APRPT. We will see you next week, and we will come up with something fun for the holidays.
Have a good
That's
one.
our challenge. See ya.